Hello and welcome to this special edition of UATV Spotlight. I'm Drew Chamberlain. Thanks for watching. Today I'm joined by the 2023 University of Arkansas Johnson Fellows and distinguished alumni Troy and Gerald Alley. Troy, Gerald, thank you so much for being here. First off, you both are Johnson Fellows. Could you kind of tell me what a Johnson Fellow is and how you received that title?
The Johnson Fellowship is an award or recognition by the Johnson family for alumni who they felt have made a difference in their careers and their lives, and encourage those fellows to come back and engage with students here on campus to share their experiences with them as they went through life.
Are there any particular pieces of advice that you'd want to give to University of Arkansas undergrads who are aspiring entrepreneurs or aspiring future business owners or starters? Or is there a piece of advice that comes to mind that you would give to someone wanting to start their own business or having trouble with it?
Well, you know, it's interesting you asked that question, and part of what I have looked at over the years is, you know, we kind of start with education as the bedrock of being able to be successful. And true enough, without education, a lot of us wouldn't have opportunities that come back. What I kind of evolved to is that education comes in different forms. You can have a structured academic education, or you can have a practical experience education, all of which makes the person and the opportunities of your career or potential business an important part of being successful. So what I've tried to do is I push the educational, but I push it from, it's not just good enough for you to get the kind of academics that you need, but get practical experience, internship, and most importantly, connect with people that have had experience that you can learn from, because we only have a certain amount of time to kind of put the rocks on the road and be able to do the things that we want. So if you can expedite it by not stumbling over things that you might have taken a couple of years to learn, but taking that experience from people that have experience, you're further along on the route. So I tell students, and I tell anybody that is interested in, quote, going in business, is try to seek out people, but also seek out opportunities, but also realize that the opportunities and the education that you get by having relationships are, in fact, part of your total education and your ability to be able to learn.
Short-term, long-term, and like Troy said, you get a combination of that. I think anybody seeking to go into business, there is, you know, a business concept starts, it could start at a bar with a couple of beers. Mm-hmm. And the difference between lunching and not lunching is what you do that morning after you had that good evening with the beer, with the great concept. And the question is, what are you willing to sacrifice to convert this from a good time that evening versus, is this going to be a commitment? The other thing that a lot of people take the long impression in going business, I want to be rich, I want to be successful financially. The question really becomes, what are you passionate about? And if you have a passion for something, and if it can economically give you a return, now how long you can be passionate about something and it's not an economic return, it's the difference between a business and a hobby. A hobby, you can be passionate about it doesn't have an economic return, but you're passionate about it, and that's fine, and put that in perspective. I think one of the things that I've learned over the years is that understanding what your passion is and understanding what you're willing to sacrifice to convert that passion into something can be self-generating. And even you look at sports, and you look at sports players who love the game, even if they don't go to the NFL or the NBL, that they tend to love the game and they do it maybe in intramural, or they coach from a little league team, they still love the game. They may work downtown or somewhere else doing financial planning, but they're coaching as a passionate. So I think you almost have to clarify that in your mind, what you're willing to do. I wouldn't say give up your passion, but one is something you have social benefit from and a personal benefit from. I think the other thing that a lot of people in business think, if they have a certain skill set, sort of what Troy said, how do you leverage that to communicate that to other people where that, because business, everybody has a product and service. Being chosen to use your product and service comes from usually relationships. And you have to put that on a short-term, long-term basis. Which one you need to get the opportunity right now, which one that you just have a relationship that by the time it comes, you're prepared to handle it. So I believe it's that short-term, long-term. I believe understanding, what your passion is versus a business model and what your sacrifice you're willing to make them sustainable.
And
Now, for my last question, I wanted to ask you both. You both have given back to the University of Arkansas in so many various ways, one of which is the Alley Scholars Program. And I was wondering if you guys can touch on not only the Alley Scholars Program, but just, your legacy at the University of Arkansas and what you've done to give back to it.
well, one of the things, years back, when we started getting more involved, and I credit Gerald was saying, as he was saying, we need to get more involved with the University of Arkansas, And, we were kind of rocking along doing our business and stuff, and it was the whole idea of, how do we give back? But after we formulated the scholarship that came through the Walton School of Business and stuff, and he was saying, let's put some money and let's name it after our mother, Gladys Alley Memorial Scholarship. And then something really happened, and I was teasing with the people over the College of Engineering. When I was here, and I have no bones about, it was tough. It was really tough. And if I look back at it, I said, what can I do that if somebody else came after me, that they would have less of a struggle? So I went to the dean and told the dean, I said, what kind of quote-unquote program or things can we do to, first of all, recruit more minority students into the College of Engineering? Because when I was here, 3 of us, and I was one of the 3. And I had no real partner in the struggles that I was dealing with. So he agreed to get funding, and we started ECAP, Engineering Awareness Program. So, but what I found out is that, yeah, we had the ECAP program, but that really covered getting students into the College of Engineering. But what other lessons learned or life things could be? And I thought about it, and I said, what can we teach students that life is about not only the academics, but how can you relate to other students? And I encourage the students, I say, you go to University of Arkansas, you need to know people at UT, you need to know it at Baylor, you need to know UATV. And so I formulated this program with the first idea of trying to get them to connect with other students. Because what I also found out is the old axiom, you don't never know who is going to be your boss. You leave here, and somebody from UT might be your boss, okay? And I know there's a lot of competition between colleges and stuff, but it would be good to know how other people think at other different universities. So I said, let's put together a program where the students themselves can integrate with each other, learn each other, and also look at ways in which they can develop their career, and most important, a way in which they can see that they can give back and make a difference. So started the Alley Scholars, and we ended up having different types of programs. We did it for many years, and kind of COVID kind of put us down a little bit for a couple of years, but we retrenching it again. But 9 out of 10 times, all of those students would go away and they had established friendships with students from other schools that they would have never met. And they had a real good opportunity to be able to potentially give back. And then we give some small scholarships, and we started something there was a takeoff on the Shark Tank to try to get them to get interested in ways in which they could develop entrepreneurship. So I kind of threw it all together and tried to say, what is it that I can do and get more out of their stay and their relationships?
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. It's been an incredible honor. And I want to thank you all for watching this year's UATV Spotlight with the University of Arkansas's Johnson Fellows, Troy and Gerald Alley. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Drew Chamberlain. Go Hawks.